Dads, if you're between 235 and 250 pounds and you're tired of the calorie counting and trying to track all the food that you're eating, you tried the MyFitnessPal, you tried the different tracking apps, and you lose the 20 pounds only to just gain it back, then this video is for you. Because let's be honest, if it was as simple as counting calories, you would already be back down to 200 pounds. And in today's video, I'm gonna show you exactly how you should be structuring your nutrition and what you should be eating. That way it stays off. And I'll show you the difference in why the guys that keep regaining it, even though you already know what to do. And I'm gonna give you a simple framework that you can follow even if you work from a desk or outside in the field for 10 to 12 hours a day. And I work with dads just like you every single day, 235 to 260 pounds, management roles, blue collar, kids, long work days. Your kids are probably between 6 and 12 now, like you're in the thick of it. And I've taken the same principles with training NFL athletes, training special operations in the military, and simplified the process and created the back to 200 system. That way you can get healthy, you can get strong, and you can get consistent regardless of what season of life that you're in. And now I get messages just like this every single week from my clients. A guy like David who just joined the program, he already dropped 10 pounds. Hear from him.
As of this morning, I am down 10 pounds since I started with you.
Jesus, dude, you started like 3 weeks ago.
I think the body shock, the initial body shock, because it's starting to trend down from like 6 pounds to 4 pounds to hopefully like 2 pounds a week maybe.
That's great, man. Or Frank, who's on the road all the time, now down 34 pounds. Hear from him.
I'm traveling again for another week, but like Dave just said, down another pound, so on our way.
And how much are you down from the journey?
33, same as Dave.
You boys are killing it.
Hell yeah.
Let's get it. Let's keep it up, boys. Or Josh, who's now down another belt loop since starting the program.
I'm down pant size and a shirt size.
That a boy.
That was huge for me.
Another belt loop.
Another belt loop. I'm fitting in stuff that I haven't fit in since I started teaching. It's crazy.
Let's go. You know, people think that they pay a lot of money for this program, but they're completely wrong. They pay a lot of money for the new wardrobe I'm going to make you guys get. So that's great, man. That's, I think, 2 or 3 belt loops now.
Yes.
Praise God. That's awesome. That is what we're building here. Results that stick and can fit into your life. Those are 3 different positions in work. Josh is the teacher. Frank travels on the road all the time. And David spends a lot of time behind the computer. But here's the real issue, guys. It's not that you need to have more discipline. It's that you need to have a system. And most guys think in their head, like, I've done it before, I've lost the weight before, I know what I need to do, I just need to lock in. And what you're really telling yourself is, I need to start meal prepping, I need to start counting my calories, I need to start eating chicken, broccoli, and rice. And what your brain is telling you, I am not ready to commit to that again. No alcohol, no fun, no life. It's just this all or nothing approach. And there's a mental block in your head, and you thinking that that's what you have to do in order to make this possible. So you begin to self-sabotage yourself, and that's what prevents you from actually starting every single time until you see a photo of yourself and you're like, good Lord, what the hell has happened? I gotta get my stuff together. And it's the same cycle. I'm gonna teach you some simple frameworks of how to look at your nutrition, and I call it the back to 200 system, because most of the men that I work with are typically between 235 pounds, 250 pounds, and they want to get back down to 200. It's simple, it's repeatable, and there's no crazy meal plans that are required. They're what I call non-freaking negotiables. Now, if you're 250 pounds, an easy way to figure out what your estimated caloric intake for the day is if you don't move very much, it's probably about 10. So for your baseline calories, it's probably gonna be about 2,500 calories. Multiple different videos how I talk about how eating less is going to affect your willpower. You're gonna get hungry, it's not gonna be sustainable. And you try to go too deficit, trying to lose the weight too quickly. Not gonna talk about that in this video. It's some nutrition strategies that can help you. So number one, if we think about, I know it's overplayed so much, but you need to understand why. If we talk about where you need to be with your protein intake, every single meal needs to have about probably 40 to 60 grams of protein, because protein takes longer and your body works harder to digest it. So you're gonna burn more. You gotta have things like lean beef, lean chicken, lean lamb, lean bison, lean turkey, whatever. You gotta have something. There's different, I've broken down a video of which foods have more fat and which have more, but you gotta get, the point is you gotta have protein as your primary source, because protein is going to improve your level of fullness. Gonna make it to where you don't overeat later at night. It's gonna preserve your muscle tissue, which is extremely important. So as we get on this weight loss journey, you're not losing your muscle, and you're losing fat. We want to keep the muscle up. This is how you get a body transformation, just like some of these on the screen, like Christian or Dalton or any of these other guys that you're seeing. Like, this is how you transform your body. It's also going to raise the thermic effect of your food. It's going to reduce your cravings later, so that whenever you don't actually, if you try to stay eating clean all day, come later at night, if you haven't had enough protein in your day, come dinner time, you're going to be like, I need to eat so much, and that's when you start overeating and the cravings come in. If you anchor your protein earlier in your day, a good rule of thumb is have 30 to 40 grams at breakfast. By 1 o'clock p.m., already have over 100 grams of protein. So that's two things that you can look at as measurable. Number one, 30 to 40 grams of protein for breakfast. By 1 p.m., make sure that you already have 100 grams of protein in your day. Come the afternoon time, have a protein snack, Greek yogurt, jerky, something like that. Avoid trail mix, peanut butter, things of that nature, because they're high in calories and they're high in fat and they're really easy to overeat. This is exactly what we did with Donovan. Not only has he changed his body, but now he's out of pain. Hear it from him.
I will reshare what I told you last Thursday. At this point, it's been about 2 weeks now that I have not felt the need to take pain medicine just to get a decent night's sleep.
That's massive win. So your back's
Yes,
doing good.
Yes. My low back and glutes are a little agitated today. I think that was from the bicycle squats that I did Saturday. But other than that, slight agitation, they're feeling really good.
And I believe you're on like week 6 of the lower back protocol. So it's starting to get a little bit more, I don't want to say challenging, but it's just a little bit more, you're doing a little bit more now and your body's benefiting from it. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. That's great. Love to hear that, man. Good win.
Yes,
being pain-free is huge. I mean, hell, the first time we talked, it brought you to tears because you couldn't play with your little guy. So praise God, you're able to start moving in the right direction and being pain-free.
Yes,
Thank
Absolutely.
you for sharing.
I'm loving it. Thank you. So
the next thing that I want you to think about is what I call the 50-30-20 rule. And instead of counting calories, I want you to think about the 50-30-20. 50% of your plate should be vegetables. It's going to be high in volume, high in fiber, which is going to make you full. 30% of that should be protein, lean protein like we talked about. So you're going to have high volume that's going to keep you full. You're going to have protein that's going to keep you full, and then have the other percent be a healthy carbohydrate and a healthy fat. So just visually, without counting the macros and all that, just look at your plate and have that be what it looks like. 50% vegetables, protein, and fat. It's going to improve your digestion, and ultimately, it's going to be able to improve your blood sugar control, how you feel. And let's be completely honest, you already know that you're not going to overeat all vegetables. So just being intentional with that and enforcing yourself to have it is going to help you stay full, and the benefits are going to outweigh themselves, because it's way easier to overeat on the chips, the peanut butter, the trail mix. So prioritize your meals like that, and you will feel full, and those cravings are going to go away because the high fiber, the high protein, the high volume. So let's talk about carbohydrates. And this is where most dads mess up. You don't need to do keto. You don't need to do no carbs, carb replacement. What you need to do is have carbs around your workouts. So what I mean by that is when you're training, intentionally have a carb to protein ratio of somewhere between 2-to-1 and 3-to-1. So if you work out earlier in the day is better. Carbohydrates earlier in the day is better. But if you have a workout, 50 grams of carbs to 25 grams of protein. Not what most people are doing. Protein shake, double protein shake, no carbs. You want to have carbs because it's going to replenish your glycogen levels to help you build muscle. And without diving into the weeds too much, you are more insulin sensitive post-workout and earlier in the day. Compared to if you flip it at night, late night carbs plus overeating plus snacking is only going to lead to poor sleep. And what's going to make you overeat the next day because of the insulin response. And that's what keeps you at 248 pounds versus 208. And I just want you to hear a perspective of somebody who's been in the program, of how we've taken them through this journey, their weight loss journey. So hear from Dave of what his process has been like since we have implemented in this nutrition strategy. Hear from Dave. A lot of the guys that, follow my account but haven't taken action yet, if you had a chance to sit down with them, what would you tell them?
Top line, if you sit down and have the conversation, that's a good step. But the real key here is how much of your heart you're going to put into this process. And if you're not fully committed to putting your heart in the process, maybe it's not your time. That's okay. Yeah. I've had a lot of those times when thought I was investing in myself, thought I was going for it. And turns out I wasn't quite ready for it. You really got to make that choice that you're ready to do it. And The big piece here is after that conversation, you need to keep showing up. You need to have a little bit of OCD, ADHD, where you're going to get obsessive over this. That is a way to make a change in your life. And once you're maybe made that change, you've made that turn, you don't have to always be super overly engaged, but it's like, we got to reframe this. And so recognize that it's step one, and it's just step one. Step two, great.
That's right.
Step three, you keep grinding at it.
And the way that we've done this entire process is you don't need to have 27 different meals. You need to have 3 to 5 simple, repeatable meals. You kind of have a breakfast rotation of some things that you do, a lunch rotation of some things that you do, and dinner, you and your wife probably work out something together where it's always rotating, but you need to have a framework instead of always trying to guess and getting pulled in different directions. One of the ways you can improve your movement, walking pad if possible, is by eliminating the lunch decisions of trying to figure out where you're going to get food. That 20, 30 minutes of, even if you order it for pickup, you just grab it in and go, it's still taking time away when you could down-regulate, where you could just eat and then maybe getting some movement instead of driving to wherever you need to go. Taking ownership of your lunch is one of the easiest things that you can do. And in our nutrition series, we have 4 pillars. Number 1, we're focusing on the basics. Number 2, we're habit stacking, and that's where we actually try to improve your lunch and get you to prioritize instead of just eating last night's leftovers, but teach you how to own your lunch and not get rid of the snacks that you're having, which are probably trail mix, peanut butter, chips, candy, like how to improve and overcome that craving. Because guess what happens? You become more consistent with this entire process, and that's what we did for Nathan. Hear from Nathan and how we helped him become more consistent with not only his workouts, but his nutrition. And that's my point being, is that if it was just about calories, you wouldn't still be stuck in this weight range where you keep losing and gaining back. It's about consistency. And consistency does not come from extreme plans. It comes from having a simple, repeatable, progressive system in place. That's why I believe that these crash diets fail. 75-day heart, like it fails you in the long term, and that's why it's having just a fixed mindset of here's the finish line is only going to get you there every single time versus reverse engineering it, fixing the habits to help you keep the weight off. Because the only way that you know how to lose the weight is by continuing to go all in. You've never learned how to go all in on being consistent. So let me just give you a small sample of what a meal for each would look like. So for breakfast, let's talk about having eggs. Eggs are a great source of protein. They're a good source of cholesterol. They're good fat. You could have a couple eggs. You could have some Greek yogurt. You could have some fruit. You could have some black coffee. For lunch, we already talked about this. You could have some type of salad, massive amount of vegetables. You could have your protein in there, and you could have some type of carbohydrate and fat. Super simple. So things like that, there's no tracking. It's just simple structure. The 50-30-20 rule is going to take you much further until you need to make some more granular changes. So it's very possible that after watching this video, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, I already know all this stuff. And I hate to break it to you, man, but the reality of the situation is if you already knew it and you were applying it, you would be it. So that's not an insult, but it's more like of awareness and holding up the mirror to your face. Because there's a large difference in knowing it and implementing it. And there's typically 2 types of dads that watch this video. There's the one that says, yeah, I'm gonna give this a try and I'm gonna give this a good go for a couple of weeks. Or there's the one that says, you know what, man, I'm tired of negotiating with myself and I actually wanna make a change, and I recognize that the thing that I'm missing is a system, structure, and support. So if you want actual help with how to systemize this into your life for your workouts, for your nutrition, for the sustainability, the link is down in the description below on how to actually work with me. And this isn't about losing 15 pounds or 20 pounds for the summer. This is about getting back down to 200 pounds and keeping it off and living the life that you know that you're capable of. Stronger, healthier, being able to run around with your kids, being more consistent, full of energy, full of intimacy, full of things that make you feel good when you put on the clothes and you lose the belt loop again. That's what this is about. Nobody wants to hold a sign over their head saying, I've lost 50 pounds. And it always comes down to the fact that, quite frankly, just your kids are watching you. And what type of example do you want to be setting for them? So do things differently this time. The link is down in the description below. Let's get to work, and I'll catch you in the next one.